You a good morning, Finland. Good morning, Finland. My name is Krein. I'm the CEO of Startup Health, and hopefully you'll see my slides up here in a couple of minutes, but I am incredibly pleased to be here with you today. I've spent the past several days with you here in Helsinki, getting to know the Finnish people, the government, the entrepreneurs, the investors, and the customers of this amazing industry and this amazing ecosystem. What I want to try to do today is discuss with you the reimagination of healthcare. We're living in the most amazing time in history to be an entrepreneur in healthcare. And we're sitting upon some very unique conditions. My slides aren't up, please. We're living in some very unique conditions where there are 5 macro conditions that have never been set up before. Specifically, healthcare reform, both in the US and across the world, is changing the entire landscape of business models in healthcare. The acceleration of cost and chronic disease and aging is increasing the demand for new solutions. And if that wasn't enough, we're living in the golden age of entrepreneurship, where access to capital, access to money from all sources, angel investors, venture capitalists, corporate investors, are all converging on helping entrepreneurs unlike ever before. In addition, we're seeing that digital health, data, and new devices are entering the lab coats of doctors. And we're living in a world where new data sets are being created every single day. And if that wasn't enough, we're living in a world where the globalization of healthcare means a global conversation. A conversation not just in a particular region, but across every single region around the world. In the US, in Helsinki, in Tel Aviv, in India, we're seeing that the entire industry is sitting in the most exciting moment ever. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an investor, if you're a large company that wants to work with young companies, this is the moment. What's amazing about this moment, though, when you kind of look at the traditional life cycle of any industry, it all goes through the same stages. An entrepreneurial industry emerges, and while no one else believes it, entrepreneurs are plugging away. And as that emerging industry grows, it becomes a growth industry. And then a status industry. And it's big and fat and happy and money's flowing in and people are spending money and it's growing. But before very long, it starts to look like a depleted industry. Regulation sets in. We start talking about all the reasons why things don't work anymore. We're looking at the mindset of people who truly have a stagnant mindset. The industry is done in most people's minds until the magic moment happens again. And Joseph Schumpeter, an economist 75 years ago, coined this moment the creative destruction of the industry. Every single industry over the last 20 years has gone through this exact moment, except healthcare and education. And I'm here today, and you're going to hear from speakers today talking about the creative destruction of the healthcare industry. We don't just call these entrepreneurs, we call these entrepreneurs healthcare transformers. Healthcare transformers are the ones bold enough to reimagine the industry. What's interesting about healthcare transformers is that it's specifically looking at the different mindset between people sitting in the depleted industry and entrepreneurs reimagining the industry. We think they're, simply put, they either have a transformation mindset or a stagnation mindset. Now, here's the interesting part about this entire mindset idea. There are organizations out in the market, in the depleted industry, who have a transformation mindset. One that comes to mind is one run by Jeff Immelt in the United States, but has global reach as one of the largest companies in the world, GE and GE Healthcare. And then there are those organizations out there that have a stagnation mindset. And what I want to try to do is kind of draw some very specific examples of the things that go on in the minds of those with a transformation mindset versus those with a stagnation mindset. And of course, you might imagine it begins at the very top. The CEOs of the organizations that have a transformational mindset have a transformational mindset themselves. So they have it as a top priority to embrace new external innovation that's going to transform the industry. If it's not the priority of the CEO of any company, it is impossible to truly embrace entrepreneurship in the digital age. When you look at the long-term commitment of those CEOs, their long-term commitments to figuring out what works and what doesn't work versus the short-term commitment of just waiting to see what does work and what doesn't work. You hear the CEOs of these companies talk about ways it can work versus ways it can't work. They're engaged with entrepreneurs today to figure out solutions to their problems. They're not trying to just build everything themselves. They're active as customers of several startups. They're not sitting there talking to startups and not engaging. They have a defined process and team for working with startups instead of not having a defined process and team. And they like to try new things and take risk versus preferring to wait and see and what works and what doesn't work. Those with a transformation mindset are very responsive. They're constantly removing internal friction and all of the obstacles. And they want to be a leader for others. They want to inspire other organizations and other governments and other communities to embrace this new generation of entrepreneurship. And I sum all of this up into two very simple ways to explain the difference between those with a transformation mindset and those with a stagnation mindset. And I call it batteries included, energy providing people and organizations who thrive at giving energy to the entrepreneurs versus those that drain the energy and are not batteries included. And instead of talking about how it can be done, they drain the energy of every entrepreneur they meet. So hopefully all of the people in this room are batteries included, which is why we believe this is the moment to get around all of the entrepreneurs, the startups that are reimagining this industry, and help support these entrepreneurs, join their team, advise them, become their customers, become their investors, and support them as part of a global community. This is not only the largest industry in the world, it's the most important industry in the world. The stakes are high. This is the formula for the transformation of healthcare. 4.5 years ago, my partner, Uni, and I went to Washington, D.C., not the most likely or lovable place for entrepreneurs in the past, but the government of the United States embraces entrepreneurship. And we told the President of the United States and the Vice President about how over the next decade, we're going to help build 1,000 companies around the world who all believe that the future is bigger than our past, that this industry can be transformed, and we can reimagine every aspect of the industry. On that day, we launched Startup Health, a global transformation company designed with a long-term coaching program for entrepreneurs, designed to make a long-term commitment to the entrepreneurs so they can attract capital, so they can attract customers, so they can attract team members, so they can attract the momentum they need. As part of that program, we knew that we needed more. We needed to organize all of the stakeholders from around the world who were pledging to commit to help the entrepreneurs. It's called the Startup Health Network. It's all of the batteries included, like-minded people who want to help entrepreneurs. And here's the neat part. We also keep track of all the batteries not included people so that we can keep the entrepreneurs away from those organizations and away from those people, because entrepreneurs don't have time to be met with batteries not included people. The community of entrepreneurs, I like the applause, the community of entrepreneurs that are doing all this transformation, they deserve to be heroes. So we gave them the moniker Healthcare Transformers, and they all wear this pin on their lapel. There's 117 companies with 250 entrepreneurs from 11 countries and 50 cities today wearing the Healthcare Transformer pin. And I'm about to make an announcement in a few minutes about what we're doing here in Finland and what we're doing here in the Nordic region to explode the entrepreneurship ecosystem and connect it with the startup health ecosystem. And that's why the Startup Health Media platform is about showcasing the great innovation, the great thought leaders, the great people, and the great work that's being done. This crosses every aspect of healthcare, whether it's cancer, whether it's genomics, whether it's care coordination, whether it's lowering the cost or improving outcomes. It's all about the broad spectrum of every aspect of this industry that is going to be transformed. I mentioned the 117 companies. The interesting thing about these companies is that they're from all over the world. I'd like to show you the short video of the healthcare transformers in action.
Serial entrepreneur
and telemedicine pioneer.
1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer.
And almost half the $300 billion spent each year on prescription drugs is completely wasteful.
To create a solution, I found a talk session.
So we founded this company 3 years ago to address the $1 trillion of spend that's moving into bundled payment.
This is our prototype sensor on my forehead here.
We have 300 installations in over 150 mental health clinics.
We already have 100 facilities. We are about close to $1 million in revenue.
We're here to scale.
And our aim is to fix healthcare in America.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Startup Health Showcase. It's a great honor to have you all here today to see a showcase of 35 startup health companies. We've got something pretty unique organized where 35 companies are going to do 59-second pitches.
Everyone is generating revenue, they're raising money, etc. So I'm incredibly proud of these transformers.
We have raised $4 million. We've already saved families over $17,000 a year.
We have 200,000 clinicians that now participate in our platform and are syncing with their patients in 12 chronic condition areas.
In the last 6 months, we've raised $8 million in venture financing. My co-founder and I sold our last company to Computer Associates.
We're currently available at about 400 locations across the U.S., including Sloan Kettering, Johns Hopkins, and thanks to a recent deal, we're now available at select CVS locations.
We're now powering 2 of the top 5 consumer health sites. More than 5 million patients every month use our technology. More than 10,000 doctors have Doctor.com accounts.
42% of our customers have now repeated. Our 24 clients now include Zappos, Pfizer, and Uber.
I have been using behavior science and entertainment to create health and wellness programs that actually improve health behavior, including leading one of President Obama's federal promise neighborhoods in New York City.
We've been with Startup Health since the beginning, and talking with Stephen and Unity when this was really just an idea, it's become a movement, and it's incredibly exciting to see these companies today. And I'd like, before we introduce the last group, for everybody just to acknowledge the entrepreneurs that have come up here. Telling your story in a minute is really difficult, so let's give everybody who's presented a big hand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Following the showcase, we have tables at the back of the room where you have the chance to meet the CEOs of these companies directly.
I look out across this room. I see transformers. I see entrepreneurs. I see investors. I see leaders who are really determined to find ways to reimagine and to reinvent health in America in the coming years. And that, to me, is as exciting as anything I know.
This is a moment where the people in this industry can come together and get behind those bold enough to reimagine this industry. These entrepreneurs need you. And here's the truth, you need them. So over the last 4 years, we've built this movement from the United States, and we've attracted companies from all over the world. But before this week, we had never had boots on the ground to actually engage locally with the ecosystems and the entrepreneurs and the communities. I am incredibly proud and honored to be here at Slush this year to announce the launch of Startup Health Finland, the first chapter and hub outside of the United States to bring together the incredible entrepreneurs and investors and companies in Finland together with the global community of healthcare transformers from all around the world. As you can see, this partnership we could not have done alone. We've done it in partnership with Team Finland and FinPro, who have been incredible at opening up our eyes and encouraging us to see the different mindset and the people that exist here. The fact that in 9 months from sitting down with the folks at FinPro and Team Finland and GE Healthcare and what's happening at Health Innovation Village, opening up the eyes of all of the entrepreneurs around the world to see that between Team Finland and FinPro and GE Healthcare and Health Innovation Village and Startup Health, we are putting more puzzle pieces together to build the entire healthcare transformer ecosystem around the world. A long-term coaching program to help the entrepreneurs. A global trusted community of healthcare transformers. You're not alone anymore. Entrepreneurs need to work together arm in arm like an army of entrepreneurs, connecting all the dots and bringing all of the stakeholders that are needed to collaborate with these entrepreneurs together. Arm in arm, over the next decade, we can transform healthcare together. We need everybody's help. If you are batteries included, and I know you are, go to startuphealth.com/Finland. Take the pledge. If you're a startup building a healthcare company, digital health, where data is the underpinning of your product or service, we want to help. You are no longer alone. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for making Startup Finland the first hub outside the United States, and I absolutely am sure we are going to transform healthcare over the next decade together. Thank you very much.